I just watched Exorcist Believer, and I shit myself. What's going on, guys? It's the What Do You Think crew, and we are back for a new movie review of The Exorcist Believer.
Yeah, more like Exorcist bullshit. That was good. I think the first take was better. I was saying that. This is a little bit forced, but like, we'll see. We'll see who makes the cut. I'm gonna watch this video.
Yeah. All right, cool. And like they said, guys, we are back for a new video. And yesterday we did end up seeing Exorcist Believer. And if you guys haven't seen the original one, this movie is a legacy sequel, right? Like a requel? Yeah, almost like a requel. Do you want to go into the synopsis, Al?
Yeah, so this movie takes place, I'm assuming 50 years after the first one. I don't know. She said it took... Whatever. Two girls just get possessed by a demon. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's the synopsis. And it's up to the parents and the family, like some church, something, like religious thing, to get them out of it. Pretty much it. Alright?
So if you can't tell already, Alvin did not like the movie. Yeah, this movie was an interesting one, for sure. Yeah, it stars Leslie Odom Jr. He's playing, I think, Mr. Felton, right? Does that sound right?
Larry?
Mr. I just said Mr. No, it's
David.
David Fielding.
I don't know his first name.
I wasn't guessing his first name. I said Mr. Felton.
Fielding,
okay. Yeah. Mr. Fielding. And essentially it starts off with, like, his wife, cause I guess they were doing the Haiti earthquake.
Yeah, I was
the big Haiti earthquake. Yeah, I'm surprised they did that. So they just show his wife passes away early on in the movie, but one of
she was pregnant.
Yeah, one of the, I guess, people of Haiti placed blessed like put a blessing spell. Yeah, so his wife passes away, but the daughter survives, and then we flash forward, I think about 15 years later. The dad is super protective of his daughter, and the daughter says, "Oh, I'm gonna go hang out with my friend. Is it cool if I come back a little bit later today?" And he's like, "Yeah, just make sure you come back before dinner." He wanted to make sure it was dinner. And then they go missing, and he's like, "Oh, you only go check at home. She's not there." Both parents who you would expect them to be really close friends since the friends are the childs are friends, but they're not.
They're not.
So both parents realize that, oh shit, our daughters are gone. And they go to the cops. They can't find them. 3 days later, they do, and as you can expect, that's when things kind of hit the fan, and they go a little crazy.
Little cuckoo.
But a good old classic possession.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So what I will say about The Exorcist Believer is I think the first 20-30 minutes of this movie is actually very, very good. So I think when this movie isn't focused on being a Exorcist sequel / requel and is doing its own thing, that's when it really works for me. I think Leslie Odom Jr. is great in this movie. I think he's the best actor, and I thought his character was the most fleshed out.
Developed.
The most developed, for sure.
I think he was like the only developed character, honestly.
Yeah.
Everyone else was kind of static, but I would say honestly the standout was his daughter.
The daughters are great too.
Yeah, the kids
daughters did really good. I mean, what else is good about this movie? I don't know. I have a lot of problems.
So I guess I can ask you guys, because I'm curious if you guys have seen the first Exorcist movie. I have before. What?
I was making extra mid.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
The Exorcist Exorcist Believe mid.
Boy, if you don't.
Okay. Stupid.
Sure. Yeah. So you guys didn't watch the first Exorcist movie. Do you guys feel like you need to have seen the original to appreciate this?
No. I don't think you need to. Cause I mean, I felt like I got a decent understanding. Probably I didn't have as much connection to what's her name, the main character that came back, the mom.
Yeah.
So they show her. No, not what?
Regan?
No, the mom.
Regan's mom.
Reagan's mom.
Yeah.
So with all these requel movies, they usually bring back a legacy character. So for me, who hasn't seen The Original Exorcist, I didn't feel too much connection to that. But
yeah, that shit was so lame. Actually, just having an old lady come back.
Yeah, well, that's not the issue. Why? It's just they don't use this character really well.
As you can tell, Alvin, we didn't tell you guys this, but as Alvin was watching the movie, he did have la 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 la.
I wasn't scared. The movie was so bad, I just didn't want to watch it.
Because I think he had his eyes closed too at some.
Yeah, I was just tired. It was a long day. It was a long day. I had work. We all had work. What did you do, Omid?
I had school, bitch. 8 to 1, man.
9 to 5. 8:30
in one meeting.
8 to 5.
Have you ever been in a meeting from 8 to 1?
Oh yeah.
No way. Where you can't move, you had to be in front of it.
It's called work.
Yeah. You watch movies. You play.
Back on track. Back on track. Yeah.
No.
So the legacy character they do bring back doesn't really do much in the movie. So if you're expecting that to be the big draw for the movie, you're gonna be disappointed there. And I guess as a beginning of the spooky season, is the movie scary? I think for me personally, it wasn't really scary, but I think
we consume so much content.
Exactly. I think for the general audience, the scares in this movie do work, but I do think it's too far in between each other. Like there's too many lulls in the movie. Where I think the biggest summary of this movie I can say is just it's a boring movie.
It's a boring movie.
And that can be said about the first Exorcist movie as well. I would understand that it's a slower one, but it works better than this one does. And you would think with there being 2 possessed girls,
it'd be more
it means double the action, double the fun.
Yeah.
But that's not
It's
the case.
twice the bore.
Yeah.
So, the only reason why I was doing this during the movie, I will admit that I did.
Yeah.
But it's because
The sound design
Yeah.
is gonna pop.
Yeah, the suspense was it's a lot of cheap scares. I was telling Nick about this. We watched it with Nick and Owen.
Yep.
I was telling Nick that one of the first scares in the movie is just someone lifting a rock and a snake comes out.
Yeah.
That was very cheap, and it has the sound design blaring you, right? So they expect the audience to get a reaction. At least do something with the characters that elicits some type of scare. Don't just do something cheap where a sound effect is just thrown at you.
That's
right?
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So my question to you is, were those scenes not predictable?
The scenes were predictable. You see we're going to go full spoilers, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot of scenes where it's kind of cliched where you see the reflection in the back and then someone passes it and the reflection's gone, or it's like, oh, where's this character now? Blah blah blah. Like it is kind of cliched, I will say.
But those are actually some of the cool stuff I thought. I think for sure jump scares are cheap, but I did like whenever it would show like Leslie.
Those flash frames.
Yeah, flash frames.
Yes.
They did a lot of those that were cool.
Yeah.
And like if they showed Leslie Odom Jr. talking to his daughter, you would see like the possessed version of the daughter like behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah.
I think the jump scares were kind of cheap, but
I do think that
what
the makeup,
works?
so I do think the makeup of the girls really does work.
Yep.
So I do think they do,
fingernails.
they
That's
do some
gross.
pretty gnarly like body horror stuff.
Yeah. Which
And I think it's like maybe 30 or 40 minutes into the movie. So like when they're, I guess, kind of treading the line of like before they're possessed, but you know that there's something off with them. That's when the movie truly works, and like the daughters are unhinged and they're gonna do anything. And I thought that's actually genuine like terror.
What were you gonna say?
No, yeah, I think the body horror. For me, the things that work with horror movies are the gore. Like, I don't have a problem with the gore or anything. It's just the suspense. For me, that I'm just like, oh, I'm at the edge of my seat. I don't really like feeling. I don't like.
You
that
like that feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's fair. I do think there are good aspects to this movie. It does kind of fall into the trappings of it's going to be very similar to the first one, but just new. And yeah, that was unfortunate.
Because I mean, didn't they do it in that first Exorcist too? Like when Reagan gets possessed, didn't she also like wet the bed and stuff like that?
Yeah, which like that's fine. Like,
I mean, I can see like a lot of this like similar aspects to the movie, and I just feel like as you mentioned, it was just boring. Like,
yeah,
it's 2 hours, and it feels like the exorcism scene at the end was like what 30 minutes, and I just feel like just not much happened.
Yeah. It actually wasn't even 2 hours.
It was like 158, right? Barely 2
150.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
damn, that movie.
Oh,
felt
wow,
long.
it felt really
Yeah.
long. They kind of maybe should have done what Halloween 2018 did, where make the story around an OG character, or have
I
like the
disagree.
family around the OG
Like Scream.
character.
No, because I think that's the worst part of the movie.
Bringing back the legacy characters.
Oh yeah, that too. But I feel like she did less. Like in Halloween 2018, it focused around Jamie Lee Curtis's family.
Mm-hmm.
And
But that to me that feels cheap. Like, oh, you're essentially extending a story that doesn't need to be extended. Like, I think this movie works when it's not an Exorcist movie. If this was just like a movie about 2 girls being missing, and essentially like they don't need to be possessed. They don't.
but
need
it
to
is an exorcist. Like that's the problem. Like
Yeah, but
I
you're
agree.
saying like make it like a true legacy sequel, and I don't think that would fix the movie. I think for this movie to work is they needed to get a director that had a unique vision, because David Gordon Green in the beginning, he is telling a different, slower story, and I think there is true like scary moments in there. So I think it being latched to the Exorcist franchise is the greatest fault to this movie.
that's
I don't think you need the legacy characters because they did nothing with the legacy
in
characters.
this one, in this one,
Yeah.
they do nothing with it. But I think for the fans, that could have been a possible way to do it. Because I mean, That's what I think. Like, oh, you want it to feel connected. If it's called Exorcist, find a way to connect it maybe, or make it drastically different. Because if you're gonna do the same,
it wouldn't work for you guys because you guys didn't. So because there's probably a lot of people that don't even want to touch the first one because they've heard of how scary it is, right? Yeah. So I think keeping it to original characters is what makes it better because you don't need to have previous knowledge where it's like now fan servicey, like and you have the audience ready to clap because they do an Avengers like moment, like you guys are saying. There's like a lineup of heroes
in the church.
Yeah, in the church, and I think that's my biggest thing is like, it should have been its own movie.
Yeah,
and I think it really does work in the beginning. Like I would reach over to both of them and was like, hey, this movie's not a 20% movie.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And then it
shot well.
Yeah, it shot well. So like, even at the end of this, I don't think it's a 20% movie. I do think there are issues that I would have really wanted to like this movie much more than I did. Mm-hmm. But would you guys recommend it to them? If it's like on a streamer?
On a streamer, throw in the background for sure. Like,
but see, in the background, there's not enough for it to happen for it to be a background because it's just talking. Like,
I think if you're with friends and you want to watch a horror movie and there's nothing else to watch, I do think it could be a fun time because our theater was fully packed and there were genuine moments where the movie's not trying to be funny and people just started laughing.
Yeah.
So there's that opportunity where if you're just watching with some friends, you might enjoy it there.
Yeah.
Especially to get kind of, if you want to watch a horror movie every weekend, that's that. You can do that.
Yeah. Saw X was better.
I thought Saw X was much better as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else we can say before we wrap it up on Believe whatever shit
Believe
you
me.
said?
Whoa. Believe it.
Believe me.
Yeah.
Exorcist.
The Exorcist.
It's not
that's better. That's actually better.
The Exorcist?
The Exorcist.
Yeah,
that's better.
I think that my final thoughts are the movie's not a 20% movie. It's not a great movie. I think the biggest problem just come down to the script. I don't think they found an interesting way to make you care about these characters because, I mean, the kids are gone for a good chunk of the movie and when they're back, they're already possessed. So I'm like, I don't really care about them because I don't know them. So maybe that's how you can do it to improve it is by making both children care for because you don't really care about the other family. They don't give any development towards the father or the
because they're kind of assholes.
Yeah. Not only that, like I mean, the dad was an asshole in the beginning. I would say overall he's still very justified in the fear that he's feeling. But the one thing I did like about the movie is I liked that they actually went with a dark ending. That I personally did like. And if you are curious about it, I would say just stay away from one of the trailers. One of the trailers kind of alludes to what is possibly going to happen. So I like the ending. I thought the ending was really strong. That kind of saved it for me. So I'm ending around like a C. I think this movie has good moments. It is unfortunately very boring. Mm-hmm. The ending kept it passable for me.
Mm-hmm. Alvin?
Yeah, so as someone who doesn't really watch too much horror, but I'm familiar. I do like horror, but I like it when it's done well. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is done particularly well. Mm-hmm. Like you guys have been saying, it's just very boring.
Yeah.
It doesn't 1 hour 50 minutes. It still feels like a slog.
Mm. It needed more characters. It needed more characters to develop.
It needed to develop more characters. I will say
because they had a lot of characters still. I can't tell you half the names of the Avengers, but there was just so many characters. They don't develop any of them.
The only bright spots for me were the performances by Leslie and the two girls, and everything else was just so bland. Mm-hmm. And I will say the ending is probably the worst part of the movie when it turns into like a CGI. Fest.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Like space dust and galaxy breath.
And she opens that kind of like the thing at the top with the
portal.
The galaxy breath.
Yeah,
that was weird.
I just was not a fan of that.
Yeah.
But those are my final thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. Everything they said and we've been saying in this video, I'm gonna be landing around a 6. I think if you have A-lists and you need some time to kill, go ahead and check it out. Yeah. We didn't pay anything for it, so that's why maybe we're a little bit nicer than other people.
Yeah.
I think the beginning is great. 6 out of 10, that's where I'm landing. Mm-hmm. Curious that you guys have seen it. Let us know what did you think of the movie in the comments below. And any other movies you guys are looking forward to in the coming weeks.
The Taylor Swift movie.
Eras. The Eras.
We're going next week, boys!
Yeah. What'd you call it? The
TSU.
The TSU.
Yeah, Taylor Swift Cinematic Universe, of course.
Yeah. It's going to be TSCU?
Shut up.
Yeah, you can't make that. You made that mistake again.
No, you make.
Don't make the Swifties come attack us.
We are Swifties. We're not
one
gonna,
of them.
Yeah, we're not gonna cannibalize ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna kill you.
I don't know what else that's coming out that I'm
The
looking
Marvels.
forward to. No, I mean we're gonna watch. I'm not really looking forward to that. I guess. I don't know. Keep an eye out for other. Oh, I want to see Maxine. Is that coming out this year?
No.
I don't think
No.
so.
Next,
no.
Yeah.
No. I guess nothing.
Yeah,
else.
I'm not too sure what else is coming out soon, but we'll make sure to keep.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh yeah, are we gonna watch that?
Yes.
That's gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna make sure to keep you guys updated on all the newest movies. Keep it locked on this channel. It's been me, Amir.
I'm Alvin.
And it's me, Omid.
Have a great one, guys. See you next time.
See you.
Bye.